Hi, I'm Darren Odiore, and welcome to the 2024 jpmorgan Summer Reading List interview series. We are thrilled to be joined today by acclaimed actor and author Jake Gyllenhaal, whose most recent book, The Secret Society of Aunts and Uncles, is featured on jpmorgan's 2024 Summer Reading List. Welcome, Uncle Jake.
Thank you so much.
So great to see you again.
Great to see you.
So tell us, what drove you to decide to write a children's book?
My best friend and I we've been friends since we were kids. And I think we have a relatively playful attitude about things. And we talked different times. She's a wonderful writer. And we've talked at different times about writing something together. We've tried different things. And she had recently become an aunt and I'd been an uncle for a while. And we just sort of tossed around this random idea like, oh, no one's ever written a children's book about being an aunt or an uncle. There's this empty space in the library for this subject. And so we thought, let's try our hand at that. So we went off and started to write this book.
You mentioned being an uncle. I also am an uncle to nieces, and it can be a very special thing.
Yes.
I'm curious, was there anything personal that sort of made its way into the pages of the book?
The whole thing is personal. I mean, not only me being an uncle, but me having been a nephew. I really like to think of the two main characters. I have a piece of me in both of them. But yes, there's things like the great Aunt Gloria. My niece's name is Gloria. Mona is in there. Ramona is my niece, my other niece's name. And my Uncle Bob, who is my uncle, is in there. And there's lots of different things. But really, I think the red glasses that, he wears, that Leo wears, I have pretty bad eyesight, and I had glasses when I was a kid, and my nieces both love to dance. And my eldest niece, Ramona, is a fantastic dancer. She's just extraordinary. So yes, there are many personal things that made it in there. Though I have no Uncle Munkle Carbuncle. That's completely fictional. Though I wish I had an Uncle Munkle Carbuncle.
Don't we all? Yes. You mentioned Ramona. Have you read the book to her and your other niece?
Well, Ramona is now 17, and it took us 4 years to write this book through the pandemic and everything that went on. So they read it themselves. But yes, I read it to them both, and in different drafts I did. And I have sat around the dinner table with my sister and my nieces, and we've all cried about it because, I think I wrote it for them and my love for them, and my relationship with my sister and how important it is to me and what a fantastic mother she is. And that's a big part of the whole book. So yes, we've all read it together in different forms.
One of the other big things of the book is that it really invites conversation. So it's much more than storytelling. Was that something you intended?
Absolutely. I think the best stories I know are not just what is going on the surface. It's all about subtext, and really about, to me, being able to see each other is such an important aspect of love. Being able to love is being able to listen and see. And that's what I think I've learned from being an uncle. And that's what I wanted the book to be about. And when I felt seen as a kid was when I felt loved. Continues to this day. And my aunts and uncles really saw me in a different way than my parents did. And thank God for them.
One of the other themes that is so weaves throughout the book is adventure. Yes. And you, of course, have played lots of adventurous roles. And
yes.
Did any of your prior roles sort of enter into the inspiration for the book?
Not necessarily the roles I played, but when I was a kid, I loved the Magic School Bus. And I loved books that took you sort of into other worlds, as I think we all do. But as a kid, picture books in particular, in the Magic School Bus, they went down into, places and explored stuff. And I wanted to bring that love of books of mine as a kid, and one of them being that book, and those books, and that sense of adventure, So yeah, I don't know about roles I played, but I definitely love an adventure, that's for sure.
Those books tend to have a lot to do with illustration as well. What was the collaboration like with the illustrator? Yeah.
It was wonderful. Dan is an incredible illustrator and storyteller. And it was different, I think, than he's experienced. I really looked at making the book a little bit like I looked at making a film. And I always longed for, we first wrote the text, then we sent it to Dan. And then I realized, being with illustrators, like being in an editing room, And if you're in an editing room, oftentimes you're exchanging ideas and you're trying things. The image then becomes a way of expressing the word. And I always wanted as little words as possible, though it was hard to do that. And so we had this process towards the end, particularly the last couple months, where he would give me ideas and we'd work in real time. He would literally draw as we were talking. He'd be like, I didn't know if you want me to cut out. I said, cut out all those lines. You can put that in the image and do this. And then we were starting to basically shape together. And that was one of the most inspiring, joyful processes of the whole thing.
Audience is key, clearly, in everything that you do across the mediums of film, live stage, which we're so excited about you and Denzel Washington coming
so
to
much.
Broadway and Othello. But audience is obviously key here too with the book. What do you hope audiences get from this story?
I just really hope that they have a little bit of a laugh, that it's enjoyable, that they love the illustrations, and that particularly I think about my mind as a kid and my imagination and my love of kind of diving into images and these beautiful images that Dan has drawn. I hope that they have a little respite with, someone they love and walk away going, wait a second, am I really listening and seeing the person that's in front of me?
You've had great success with Roadhouse, serving as the host of the 49th season finale of Saturday Night Live, and now success with the book. Will we see you revisit the role of author again?
I would love to. I think it's all about the idea, right? And the inspiration. And I've learned a lot through making this book. And I learned a lot about, what I want to do with something next. I have a real desire, doing something with very, very, very few words, which seems to be very hard and takes a long time. So yes, I hope so. But these things take time. To make something simple, my mother always said to me that if you want to learn about a subject, first go to the children's section, and any subject. And I really take that to heart, because to do something simply is the hardest thing to do. It takes time. So, and that's what a great children's book does. So yes, I would love to try my hand at it again, but I recognize what a difficult medium it is.
Well, on behalf of JP Morgan and recent and experienced uncles and aunts, we thank you for writing The Secret Society of Aunts and Uncles. We are thrilled and excited to share this with our clients around the world. And we, of course, do hope that you return to the role of author once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jake.
Thanks for having me.